Okay. It's that time of the
half
month again, folks.
Half month where no one shows up for the podcast?
Well, I want to do them bi-monthly, because what I'm thinking about doing is, and by the way, we're live, what I'm thinking about doing is I want to do like maybe 2, maybe 3 podcasts. Uh-oh. YouTube, don't axe me yet. I haven't done anything bad yet. There you go. I want to do 2, maybe 3 podcasts. I want to do one for maybe Final Fantasy, which I'm fine doing that by myself, because whatever. Maybe one for just, like, reading dumb shit, which I actually might call Schadenfreude Live. And then this, because this has just been going on forever. And even though we should be on, like, episode 200 or something at this point, we're only on 105, so go figure. What is this, season fucking 7 or some shit of this stupidity? We've been doing this way too fucking... This is season 6, my bad. We've done maybe a podcast every 3 weeks. Actually, wait. No, I don't think we have. I think we've done even worse than that. No, whatever. I'm not going to do the math. So, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Spray and Pray 1000. I am your host, Spray and Pray 1000. I'm joined here today by my co-hosts, Mr. Instant Retreat.
Hello, how's it going, guys? Back here again with another version of the podcast.
Mr. Paladin of the Boss.
Hey there.
And Mr. Search the One will join us in due time. Honestly, like I said, doing more regular podcasts lets them be shorter, which is what I like, and stuff is more relevant because it's once every 2 weeks as opposed to once every 2 months. So basically for this, I posted the doc. I posted, I think, yesterday or the day before, so the doc has been out there for a few days now. Really, we're going to talk about Overwatch. I think we kind of have to talk about the shit they've done to Overwatch. Walking Dead, a couple other things. Now, the only thing I didn't put on the doc, and what I kind of want to lead off with, and this might be the only time I will ever quote directly from a Kotaku article, and it's already trending on Twitter, which if something trends on Twitter within its first 30 minutes of it being, like, relevant on the internet, it's probably a pretty big deal. So, the first thing I want to talk about is our good friends at Gearbox, Mr. Randy Pitchford, and another man by the name of Wade Callender, who was Gearbox's lawyer for 8 years. Basically what's going on at Gearbox is they're basically shooting each other full of holes right now in terms of fighting legal battles and doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Pitchford, in particular, has quite a lot of ridiculous things being thrown at him. Now, again, I can't speak to the validity of them, but what I have seen online, at least preliminarily, does kind of say that sources familiar with the subject matter in question basically can almost verify that it's true. Again, this is off of a Kotaku article, and this is, again, something on the internet for less than 24 hours. So the actual validity of these claims that I'm about to talk about may or may not be totally true. But the legal battle is true. They are basically throwing everything at each other in the court of law because, you know, when you have a company probably second in terms of, like, lawyer power next to
Okay, I'm sorry,
ZeniMax.
I'm back.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Next to ZeniMax, I mean, it's kind of almost inevitable. So, basically, part of Calendar's suit against it is, part of the suit against Pitchford specifically is that he got $12 million bonus, he wasn't totally living up to his demands, and one thing in particular, which is kind of a very scary claim to have thrown at you, is that, Wade Callender, who is Gearbox's lawyer, accuses Pitchford of basically hosting parties where adult men reportedly expose themselves to minors.
What?
Yeah, that's why I want to say take it with a grain of salt, because if it's on Twitter, it is trending on Twitter, by the way. So I haven't looked too much into it, but this is I'm quoting Kotaku. So if this is fake news, if this is fucked up, if this is not true, I'm not saying Kotaku totally put their necks on the line here, but that's what they allege. That's what Wade Callender is apparently accusing Pitchford of. Now he could just be a salty motherfucker, but I mean that's I'm just going by what I'm reading, and that
sounds so stupid.
It sounds stupid, but I mean, if you're familiar with Eyes Wide Shut, I mean anything is possible.
Yeah,
that's all I'll go into it. Anything is fucking possible. I don't want to. Also, upon and there's 2 images to this. I should actually really start pulling this shit up as I do the podcast. So let me. Here we go.
Also, I feel like if this is true, rich people really need to find better things to do with their time. Because like, sure, it's a little weird. But like that entire thing was okay until you said underage boys. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, if he wants to have gay parties where he has a whole bunch of like ridiculous male strippers or whatever, I mean, whatever, dude. It's that's you could shit post about it. You could say whatever if that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's gonna do. It was a little
weird, but everyone was okay with it
until Callender accused Pitchford of holding parties, and this is a Kotaku quote from the article. So I'm gonna hold Kotaku to their word, right? They want to be journalists. Well, prove your chops. Is time. The second part of this, which I just put up, which I don't know if you guys are watching this stream, but I just put it up, and I'll actually just drop it in the fucking Beyond SNP1K, is that Callender's most lurid allegation against Pitchford is an accusation that's surrounding an event he says occurred in 2014. Callender says that Pitchford left a USB drive in Dallas, Texas, or in a Dallas, Texas restaurant containing sensitive corporate documents for Gearbox and its partners, including 2K Games, Sega, Sony, Microsoft, and others. Says the lawsuit, upon information and belief, Randy Pitchford's USB drive also contained Randy Pitchford's personal collection of, quote, underage, unquote, pornography.
Why would you keep that all on the same drive, though?
So I'm kind of not going to believe that, mainly because I feel like there is no way someone is that stupid.
Oh, don't use that excuse. At least use the excuse that the business partners would know about it.
I don't understand why you would keep that all. Like, it doesn't really make sense. Like,
yeah, so I'm not buying this.
You have sensitive information about, like,
okay, so
sensitive information on corporate dealing, and then you have the same information of personal, basically CP that is illegal. Like, on both things, you have very, very like juxtaposing material information on one flash drive.
Like when you do that, do you think you're just so screwed you might as well put the CP up in there anyways?
Oh, it gets worse, by the way.
I could never lose this.
Yeah, honestly.
It gets worse.
Like, I could never lose this or I'd be so screwed. Might as well put it on there.
Yeah, like...
So I actually have to thank Searchter for delaying the podcast, because there was an update to this article at 5:56 p.m., which I might have missed, given how close it is to when this was supposed to originally start. If you're reading the article, if you just scroll down, this is literally like 3 inches below. It's the literal next paragraph. Several hours after the publication of this story, Ars Technica tracked down a Magic podcast. Okay, oh, it's a link. Okay, on which Pitchford had appeared last year. Around the same time, a Gearbox spokesperson emailed the podcast to Kotaku. In an episode that a Gearbox spokesperson emailed this podcast to Kotaku, so they really do not like Pitchford. By the way, just think about that. It's the general counsel of Gearbox, including Wade Callender, versus Pitchford. So basically, the board is kind of just done with this man, which is thrilling. But basically, in an episode that went live on December 22nd, 2018, the day after the lawsuit was filed, Pitchford told his version of the USB stick story for the first time, he said. Pitchford described his enjoyment of camgirl pornography, in which a woman streams live erotic content and
I can't
read it. Okay. Let me muscle through this.
Sorry. What?
Pitchford described his enjoyment of camgirl pornography, in which a woman streams live erotic content, and explained that he had saved a porn video of a camgirl on said memory stick before it was lost. It is a woman who is masturbating, Pitchford said, and when she has some oh my fucking god! And when she has some experience that appears as if she's having an orgasm, a huge amount of fluid comes out of her vagina.
I think the description on that one is the best.
Is this a fucking parody article? Is
to be fair, there are cam girls that do that. Like,
I know, but am I reading this about a CEO, a former CEO of fucking Gearbox? Like, what is happening? What is fucking happening?
Everybody has different kinks. That's not my thing.
We're not shaming the kink.
No, but like the fact that they know about his preferences because he saved it onto a hard drive
that he lost with his work documents.
With his work, like, dude, what
are you doing?
We stepped in?
Holy shit! Go buy a $5 flash drive.
Honestly, dude, literally.
You're a CEO. You got $12 million in advance for fucking Borderlands sales.
Dude.
Go buy a hard drive.
A personal hard drive. Yeah, a personal server for all this information.
Personal hard drive for home.
Probably get a building with just all this information, all the saved stuff in it. Why would you need to put it on a flash stick?
On the same stick you use. That is the definition, ladies and gentlemen. No. Even worse. This is the definition of a dirty dick memory stick. The actual we're going back over 10 years with that quote.
Actual definition. Holy snap.
I actually have to agree with you guys on this one. Like, I feel like I'm honestly in shock that this, like, who in their right mind thinks this is an okay idea?
Like, this is not even in the vein of, like,
you are so rich, you can get your own personal laptop or phone for this stuff and never have to worry about being caught.
Dude, he got a $12 million advance before they even sold fucking whatever Borderlands game it was. Maybe Borderlands 2 pre-sequel. I don't really give a shit. Whatever game it fucking was. The point is that if these, like, he could have bought a fucking $200 4 terabytes external. He could have done any number of things. He could have done anything. He could bring 2 laptops with him to work. He could bring his work one. And like a fucking one that's probably even better just for fucking whacking it. It's like, who?
I mean, doesn't have to bring him to work. He literally, like, dude,
like,
just keep him on your phone
in the office. But yeah, here's the other thing. If you're gonna do it, get a porn phone.
Okay, I would like to continue this because I read the next paragraph and it's amazing. And I'm gonna
more ludicrous than this.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better and worse. Quote, "This is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician," unquote, he added, saying he had purchased one of her videos and put it on the USB stick. Quote, "Some kid, an employee of Medieval Times, discovered this memory stick, took it home and accessed it because it was before we were password protecting, and discovered secrets of my company and future games in development, and also discovered the pornography, and it was barely legal porn. This girl's handle was only 18, unquote." I can't believe I'm reading that. I don't believe this. I don't believe this.
Dude, wait, okay. But my question is, how did some kid get a hold of this memory stick?
He lost it at a fucking diner.
All right, but how many memory sticks is this guy losing?
No, the one that mattered. I mean, isn't that?
Wait, my question is, he lost it, but an employee of Medieval Times discovered his memory.
Yeah, just some random dude. Yeah, he probably came in and sat down at the fucking table and, oh, what the fuck's this shit?
Yeah.
Oh, look,
but I feel like if your company is still using memory sticks, then you deserve to be.
But here's the worst part, and he even quoted it in here. This is Pitchford saying this, by the way. It's not Calendar. This is Pitchford. This is his defense. His defense is admission, but the only thing he denied is no, she was legal. You know what? I'm gonna believe him because he has nothing to lose. He really does not. But the worst part, and this is the CEO of fucking Gearbox saying this. This was before we were password protected. So just anyone could just run up to this dude, yank it out his laptop if they know who he is, and just dip. Get in the van and be gone.
I honestly think that I could be the CEO of Gearbox tomorrow.
Jeez, man, you think? Holy shit.
Because I have more common sense than this guy.
Just password protected.
Not even that, like...
Wow.
I just don't know why you're...
I don't know what to say.
Why are there sensitive files even on a freaking flash, a physical manifestation of...
So, most companies now have like a global technological standard where they don't allow you even to hook up a flash drive to your computer.
Yeah, if you do it, it would just read, because of not only viruses getting into their system, but also things
stealing information.
You stealing information. It's literally no wonder like people are like, oh, the NSA and all these other freaking things don't allow any electronics or any sort of like flash drives into their system. But there was that guy who hid it inside a coin. I mean, that's going to the extreme to get the information out. But the point is that it makes sense, and other companies are like, well, why don't we do this? This makes sense. Like, why are we letting sensitive information just leave our company because we have untrustworthy coworkers?
So what I'm going to say is it's no wonder that video game information gets leaked if anyone can access it.
Oh, and by the way, he is still currently the CEO and founder of... Well, he'll always be the founder, but he's still currently employed at Gearbox. He is still the So there's some strife happening in that fucking company, because if he's still currently employed... I mean,
Gearbox has always been in an...
Gearbox made, like, maybe 1 or 2 good games, Borderlands and a couple, and I will never forgive them for Aliens Colonial Marines ever in a million fucking years. Period.
Oh, I remember that game.
Period. Everyone remembers it. It's a PS2 game.
Angry Joe really wanted to play that game. He was so looking forward to it.
Yeah, because everyone knew it was bad. But, you know, I went into it with the whole innocent, well, maybe it'll be a decent game. Aliens is cool, right? You know, Ridley's... No, everything that's Aliens now sucks.
What Aliens?
Everything about Aliens sucks.
I'm sorry.
I'll spoil it for you. Everything fucking sucks. Don't even bother. After Aliens, I was kind of done with it. I made the mistake of watching the other ones. I was not pleased. And, I mean, Prometheus was kind of cool. Covenant didn't really do too much, but it was alright.
Prometheus was an Aliens versus Predators.
Here he is, yeah. Okay, well, if he... Here you go.
Like, I watched that movie. I didn't know. Hello.
Mr. Search1, welcome to the Wacky Hour.
Hey, what's going on here?
Randy Pitchford is
stupid.
Randy Pitchford's a great guy. Yeah, this is new.
No.
Yeah, we snuck this on you.
No.
Do you know what happened?
Oh no! It's a collection of underage pornography.
You want to know what his defense was?
That's Munga-esque.
Do you want to know what his defense is? I'll summarize
Let me guess.
it for you.
Either research purposes for the new games, or he was keeping it on the hands of someone else.
No, even worse. His defense is literally nothing. It's hey, she's legal, but I was just. So basically, she's
barely legal.
Yeah, she's barely legal. She's
only
18. But sure. Yeah, sure. She passed her 18th fucking.
Yeah, but that's her name. I mean, that's her handle.
That's her handle. Only 18. So he downloaded a video of. I can't wait for her to fucking come out at some point and be like, yeah, he fucking liked it. He gave me like $1 million tip or some shit. That'll be fucking. But okay, but his defense, because he said this on a podcast, which apparently nobody knew about until literally this shit happened, is that he enjoys cam girls. No, you already know. He enjoys cam girls. He says it's a woman who's masturbating, and when she has some experience, it appears she's having an orgasm, and a huge amount of fluid comes out of her vagina. That's a quote from him. And this is the next quote. This, quote, this is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician, unquote, he said. And then some random kid found the flash drive and just found all these files. like how he throws that in at the end. He's and in the porn. And I would just like to point out again, this is so obnoxious. I'm willing to believe that this is not real at all. So I'll blame Kotaku. Apparently she's legal. I believe, but that's why I believe him, because he didn't try to deny he fucking looked at it. He's like, yeah, fuck it. She's a magician.
She's a magician.
The woman is a fucking living fucking fire hydrant.
Oh my god.
She's a magician.
Fucking crazy madman.
Woman is a living fire.
He has no deeper to go, so he's just like, well, fuck it. I don't care, dude. I made it. I got 12 million in the bank, dude. Oh my fucking god. And that's
Blaine, you see the toy and now it's gone.
Oh my god.
You see the toy.
It reminds me of those cam girls who have the internal vibrators that vibrate harder the more bits and shit they get. Or not bits, I'm sorry. Twitch isn't that far gone yet.
This is not YouTube.
Wait, that happens on Twitch?
Not on Twitch, on like fucking cam whatever, yeah. Probably Plexstorm too. They just fucking.
What is Plexstorm?
I mean, Plexstorm is a
cam girl. Yeah, Plexstorm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically, the more money they get in their tip jar, the more intense the vibration gets.
They do private viewings and also stuff.
Stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But anyway, Gearbox sent over a new statement several hours after the publication of this article. So Gearbox is basically feeding Kotaku whatever the fuck they want. Now, I could totally see how this would totally backfire on them, but I mean, this is what they're committing to, which is Gearbox, and I'll quote the article here again. Gearbox will be filing a grievance with the State Bar of Texas against our former General Counsel Wade for disciplinary proceedings for filing a lawsuit that includes accusations he knows to be untrue. The lawyer's rules of professional conduct expressly prohibit the filing of documents that are knowingly false. The tell is within Wade's claim itself. His use of hedged lawyer language and clever application of quotation marks betray that he knows that the impression he's trying to create is based on lies. We imagine that he used the quotation marks and lawyer language in hopes that will give him some angles of defense when we inevitably take action against him for false statements. Wade is engaged in a shakedown. He's clearly using deceit and lies to try to cause damage by promoting a narrative that he knows is false, which is all probably a reference to the fact that she's actually only 18. She's barely 18. It's okay. I love the fucking internet. Oh my god.
All right, so I feel like
no
one could be this stupid.
I wouldn't say no one.
I would say no one. Yeah, that's a hard one.
You found.
I know. See, you have to sigh, which means you know it's true.
But like, I feel like there's just so many alternatives to like what he could have done that like what he actually ended up doing is just simply false. Like, I don't even care what Calendar has to say. You know, you are so wealthy that you could have gotten your own laptop. You could have gotten your own like.
And then you could have burned it at the end of it.
Yeah, here's the thing. He is probably so wealthy that he can burn a laptop that he
Dude, you
for
could
a weekend.
He's so wealthy he can pay the girl to fly her out to freaking come do whatever. Whatever he
could have literally done the Keanu Reeves commercial where he fucking throws the laptop in the pile of fucking the fire. Yeah, he could have literally done that at the end of the week. He's like, oh fuck yeah, dude, and then he's like, oh well, like, I'm done with that.
Why? I mean, like
he could just buy phones and burn them. Just freaking use them and just toss them into the fire after every use. That's how much money he makes after every time he does it.
Every week he gets it.
He could literally do that.
Amazing.
And dude chooses not to, dude.
And again, I don't care what Calendar's accusations are. I actually believe Pitchford because there's really no reason not to.
Yeah, he's already gone down the rabbit hole.
I mean, what else is he gonna say?
Yeah, like,
she's legal. That's it. He admitted to everything else. He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. So I actually believe him because it's too insane to lie about.
I feel like it's because everything else he's done is just immorally wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but everything is immorally wrong except for like the illegal you know.
Except for leaving private company documents on an unsecured flash drive in the middle of nowhere.
What is he doing?
It's not illegal, but I would not be. I'm surprised he didn't get fucked in the ass.
I'm just surprised the other companies didn't sue him for due negligence. Like,
yeah, I mean, Calendar just kind of seems really crazy. I don't know what he's doing, dude. But this, I mean, he basically fessed up to half of it. So I mean, if at least half of it, or 80% of what one of his claims is true, because he fessed up to leaving the USB drive, and
dude,
he fessed up to having
the USB drive. So, like, how do you even lose it? Like, that USB drive would be in a steel suitcase with a foam fitting for just for the USB.
I wouldn't carry
and it would be handcuffed to my hand and biometrics on the actual freaking case. Because not only does it have secret company information, it also has all the boards that I've retained. Why would you not secure it?
But like, you know what else would be great? There's this thing called Microsoft Outlook, and you shift the blame to someone else.
Oh yeah, that is true, actually.
I mean, at the same time, why are you having CP in the first place?
Well, allegedly it's CP.
Allegedly. You don't know, but I mean,
Calendar seems a little crazy.
But the point is that literally, if I had something that valuable, it would be handcuffed to my hand. I would not. It
wouldn't be an unsecured drive. You just put in
that I could
in a diner
at any time. Yeah,
like this is not like he lost a copy of his homework. This is a little bit more in depth.
Literally, most of the companies, if not all of the companies, he has a contract with, they practice industry best practices for global securitization. At my company, if you try to connect a flash drive to any of our laptops, it's like, yep, nope.
Do they? But here's the real question.
I mean, he's the CEO, though.
Do they supply Randy Pitchford with women who squirt like fire hydrants?
To be fair, Adam, he's the CEO. He's the CEO, so he could probably bypass it.
No, the guys running IT will freak out if they see the CEO, especially the CEO. The CEO's computer is probably doubly locked down because they don't want the CEO's computer to be open to anyone just hacking it. Like, it makes sense.
Well, don't worry. Some dude from the medieval time. I mean, they're not even password protected. They don't even need to hack it.
But I know that here, SVPs even have to follow this protocol.
But here's the crazy part. It wasn't even like really secured. It was just open. Some dude was just like, "Lol, hey, a free flash drive here. I hope it's 8 gigs," and he opens it up, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
I would never at work.
Yeah, okay, I get it, because your ass is gonna definitely get hit with the hammer of just fucked.
Oh yeah, like
you're just gonna be fucked.
If I left anything open at work like that, I feel like I wouldn't have a job tomorrow.
No, you did. I could guarantee your ass would be fucking fired.
But my question is, okay, if you found it though, what would you do? Would you try to freaking?
I'm leaking that shit online. Fuck it. I'll never find it. Blackmail. I'm
saying no. Okay, so you wouldn't I get that. I would be like, oh well, I have sensitive information. I have it back. Is it possible I could get a position at the company or something? Would you try to?
You're a nice person.
Yeah, no, I'd just basically be like, hey, pay me like $60,000. I'd have to see what's on it. Like, if it's like Microsoft information, I'd be like, yo, you're gonna give me like a lot of money. I don't know how much yet, but it's just gonna be...
I don't know how much. I'm still calculating the zeros. I'm still figuring out
that. It's gonna be a significant...
Just write me a blank check
just listen, fund my fucking gaming shit and pay my electricity, and I think we'll break even at some point.
Yeah.
You would try to blackmail them and say, yeah, well, give me X amount of money to get this back?
I don't know.
I don't know, but like I think that would be my instant reaction, to be like, all right, well, you have.
I want to be set for life. You can have this back. I won't say anything.
Yeah, I know college teachers and professors who won't even dare to use their like college PC or laptop that they use for class on anything because it's not secured, right? Like anything, like let's say you go to 4chan once, right? Hypothetically, or some other website. It doesn't have to be 4chan. And you get like a cookie or something or whatever, and you go to some other website which isn't like totally safe like Amazon, but maybe like, oh hey, here's a tutorial website for physics. The last thing I want is for like doujinshi Amazon links or some shit to pop up on the sidebar. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to run that risk. Like, people just don't do that. It's just not safe.
You guys here sometimes make me click on things that I just don't.
Yeah, you'd rather not, right?
And I'd also rather not, like,
but you
ever at work ever even, like, think about something like that popping up.
It's a nightmare scenario.
I opened Google in front of my boss, and I was like, oh god, please, I hope I didn't, like, Google something crazy.
Didn't I make you Google some weird shit the other day? Or like a month ago? I don't even remember what it is. I'll know in a year when you yell at me.
But what I did notice is someone was talking about naked smoothies. And I didn't know what naked smoothies were at the time until I came home. And so I started typing it into Google, and I was like, wait, it's probably not a good idea to type in what is naked on my PC in the company. It's
kind of like that one subreddit, food porn. I mean, if you've been on the internet long enough, it completely has a different meaning than what it actually is. And they probably should have picked a better name, in my opinion.
I feel like you cannot Google anything with the word porn.
I mean,
at work.
That should be expected. Yes.
I don't want to Google anything to do with body parts.
At work, on your work like network. If it says porn anywhere in the webpage, it's like, nah, you good, dude.
And just blacklist certain things.
Yeah, I don't look up anything at work. Like, unless it's
your
work related. Yeah, I do my work. I take 2 breaks totaling 20 minutes, and then I'll eat lunch at my desk, and that's about everything I do at work, and then I leave after 8 hours.
I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, but getting back to Mr.
I mean, the difference is you guys are low man on the totem pole. This dude's
CEO. They would have no problem chopping off your small branches in a heartbeat.
Yeah, basically, he can look up whatever. Who's going to get him in trouble? He's the CEO.
As far as he is, he's the...
Yeah, he's literally the head honcho.
I mean, but I mean, again, throwing around the accusation that he is... Well, yeah, but throwing around the accusation that he has pedophilia and other things is that is probably one of the heaviest axes you could swing at someone, barring like a real axe or trying to kill them. It is pretty much one of the worst things to have up there next to a murder charge. Probably, some people would argue just as bad, if not worse than one.
I would argue it's worse in today's society. CP is not okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, 100%, and it totally is not. But it's one of those things that, especially in a lawsuit, for this man to kind of open fire with it, I mean, he either has the golden bullet, or he's just kind of being an idiot, because that can really kind of destroy your whole fucking case. I mean, again, Pitchford himself admitted to fucking having porn. Whatever, he likes it, everyone fucking likes it, it's cool, it's whatever. But I would like to stress the importance that he lost company documents in a random fucking diner and someone found it. And also that he literally forever immortalized the lines of, this is not a sex worker, this is a fucking magician. A fucking magician. That's like an anime line that I expect from some, what is that sister anime? That one with the guy, all he thinks about is little sisters and he writes or whatever.
Oh, Emoto.
Whatever, yeah. That's literally what I expect from him with that shit.
This is a magician.
This is the best way to start 2019. She's a fucking magician, dude. There's so much water coming out of her, he had no fucking clue. He had to hit pay. That's how ridiculous it was. It was like watching a fucking Squirtle do's water gun, dude. It was just non-fucking stop. Oh my god. Oh my god. Gearbox truly, if they don't deliver good games, they deliver good laughs. I'll give them that. I did not expect to read this today. Yes. Oh my fucking god. Let's move on. Because if I sit here all day, I could talk about this all fucking day. It would be great. It would get boring after an hour. But let's move on.
Oh my, wait. I got a meme to show you guys.
What did you do, Adam?
Wait, I'm in Beyond Spring Friend. I thought I was in general chat.
Just drop it quick, because we're doing things.
There you go.
What is this? Let's see. If you lose, you'll become... What? Okay, anyway. Yu-Gi-Oh! Memes don't mean anything to me, dude. I don't play
I would have died laughing.
This is something I actually found interesting, and it kind of ties in with point 5, which I guess we could kind of throw that together, which is Ubisoft is not going to be putting The Division 2 on Steam and is instead opting to drop it on the Epic Games Store, as well as The Walking Dead, the final season is coming back. It's dropping its next episode on Tuesday, and what's going to happen is that the series finale will come out sometime in 2019. The game was put back on shelves. If you remember back in September, whenever we did that podcast, it was pulled off the shelves at that point. And if you purchase the season pass, you will still get the 3rd and 4th episodes on Steam or GOG, wherever you got it from. Otherwise, you will have to buy it if you're a new purchaser of these episodes or the season pass. You'll have to buy them from the Epic Games Store. And part of the reason is because Epic helped complete the season, and Skybound felt it was just a nice thing to do and an obligation to return the favor to them by making them the sole provider of the game on PC. And I think part of this is because, one, Fortnite made them a fuck ton of money, so they kind of have the leverage and the leeway to begin the Steam steps, I guess, for lack of a better word. And two, they only take, I believe, a 12% cut as opposed to Steam's 30% cut. And that's something that is becoming more and more just recurrent, I feel, as like Discord is launching their game service, and they're trying to do a bunch of other things as well, which we'll see evolve in 2019. But for Epic, I mean, I couldn't even tell you what was on the Epic launcher before Fortnite. Paragon maybe, and I don't know. That's kind of all I got. But that's kind of one of the big things, is that they are flat out just going to skip Steam in terms of Ubisoft, and Division 2 will only be on the Epic, well, not only on the Epic Store, but will be available on the Epic Store instead.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that's a... Well, I think that's... I like Steam's platform, because I don't think that anyone has figured out how to build a platform like Steam yet as good.
Hell, speaking of that, apparently people are accusing the Epic storefront of spyware because they're owned by Tencent, which is owned by the Chinese government, and people have found some evidence of it. So,
Nope, there you go.
Yeah, no one knows how to make a online storefront like Steam. Steam is just, it's honestly perfect. They came up with a perfect...
does it justify taking 30%? No.
Well, consumer end, it's perfect. But if you're talking back end...
No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it seems like a lot of these companies just want to make their own storefront. Like, for every game that the company makes, they want the cut to be zero. They want to make all the profit.
Yeah, I mean, now we're in the day and age where that's the thing. Like, in a little bit, they probably won't even make physical copies. I mean, they're already not making physical editions of PC games anymore. That's a rarity.
Honestly, I do think 30% is worth it, considering the presence that Steam has. Nobody knows what Origin is. Like, if you ask the average person what is Origin, they're like, what's that?
It's a Battlefield machine.
Assassin's Creed Origins? Yeah.
They're gonna know what Steam is. They know instantly what Steam is. Like, because of that, I mean, yeah, it could be lowered, but at the same time,
what are you gonna do, bitch boy?
You should pay for the.
I mean, Steam is not gonna lower it because they don't care. Literally, go somewhere else.
Deal with it, Ubisoft.
We make more money. We make so much money, it doesn't matter.
But what's crazy is there's only one other thing that kind of can compete. I wouldn't say directly fight Steam. It's probably the Blizzard launcher. At least, and I mean, that's because it provides a lot of iconic old school games that are still around. Like, even if you want to say that WoW is shit, which it kind of is right now.
You can't really get them anywhere else. You can only get them at Blizzard.
I think you literally can't get them anywhere else. Which brings us into a very similar point, actually. Bungie is going to split, or is splitting with Activision. They're going to publish their own Destiny games from now on.
Destiny IP.
They will maintain sole publishing and rights to the Destiny IP, so they are free to do whatever they want. Activision officially fucked them into the dirt.
Well, yeah, Activision's messing up everybody. They messed up freaking Blizzard. They messed up Bungie.
Well, it's Activision Blizzard, so Activision not messed up Blizzard. Blizzard messed up themselves.
It was Jeff Kaplan personally. Oh my god.
Of Activision Blizzard. So
wait, what?
Blizzard. Yes, he's the vice president of Activision Blizzard
I thought it was just
company.
wait,
I thought it
Jeff
was just
Kaplan.
Blizzard.
Jeff Kaplan is the vice president of Activision Blizzard. Go look it up.
I'll actually do it. Fuck yeah. Okay. How you spell his name? Oh, literally.
Wait,
like
so
the
Blizzard
fucking-
shafting themselves?
It's more so that Blizzard are not taking control of the partnership, of the so-called partnership.
Yeah, but
So-
Activision's still controlling.
It's
It just says Vice President of Blizzard Entertainment.
And
Activision not here yet. If that's the thing. I was about to say, because that to me, like, why would he stick around on the Overwatch team then? He should fuck off. He should go fucking frolic in fields.
That, bro.
No, he's definitely on the he's the vice president of Blizzard Entertainment.
No, I know, but I'm saying I don't know about.
Oh, okay. You know what? No, okay.
I'm
so he's not
spooked.
the vice president of Activision Blizzard. Okay, I was wrong about that. But he's still the vice president of Activision of Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, no.
So
I know that, but Activision's screwing over Blizzard.
I mean, Blizzard
Like-
is not doing good shit to begin with. So.
I mean, yeah, but Activision's like basically freaking the reason why Blizzard's like getting rid of all of their workers and stuff, like paying them to quit and stuff.
Yeah, get the fuck out. We don't need you anymore. We're not making HOTS anymore. What the fuck? I feel bad for HOTS. That was almost... It could have been Smash Bros. For Blizzard, which is a true
Especially
tragedy.
if you were told that there would be another hot season, and then there just wasn't.
Yeah, and then
Like,
you
were
would go in
told
one
that there was
day.
gonna be another.
Yeah. You go in one day, you're like, oh, time for a day of work. We're starting season 2 of HOTS or whatever the fuck. And then there's just pink tape and pink slips everywhere. You're just like, oh, fuck, I'm going home. I'm dealing with this later. And what is the reasonable response to going in and seeing pink slips everywhere? There is none. Just fuck it. All right, send me my fucking tax returns and 401ks and shit. I'm out. And Blizzard is great. Blizzard is doing amazingly right now. I mean, Destiny... I mean, not just Blizzard, but Activision is doing amazingly right now. I mean, COD's COD. It's, at this point, everyone says they hate it, they won't buy it, and then somehow COD is still like the most purchased game of the year or something, or close to it. So, I kind of take that with a grain of salt. That is the truest definition of, you know, you see people online and it's not at all the total representation of the problem. Everyone says that every fucking year. I'm not buying COD. It's not happening. It's an awful game. You'll see it on every fucking YouTube video and every fucking comment section. Somehow, the ghosts or the fucking aliens are buying COD, and it just sells out. It made billions again. So, but yeah, they have COD. Destiny is just doing amazingly to the point that the makers of it would rather self-publish than fucking work with them.
No, here's the thing though. I want to see what they do, because now they can't go behind the excuse of
Yeah.
their hands are tied. It's not us. It's
They
Activision."
wanted it to be this way. Now,
I want to
you're-
see if Bungie can actually produce their own game that's good. Because
I mean-
if they're self-publishing the game, then the game
I mean,
damn
Bungie
well
hasn't really been
better not
good,
have
though.
issues.
343.
The excuse has been Activision's been tying Bungie's hands for a lot of it. So I want to see what they can do.
Yeah, it's like with
Yeah, but was Bungie good at making the new Halo games? I thought the new Halo games were ass.
no, they made
Halo games
Reach.
are-
That's 343 now. Reach was people loved it. I think people loved every Bungie Halo. I think it's safe to say the only one I didn't like was ODST because I felt like that wasn't a $60 release, but whatever. Yeah, they make good Halos, so we know that if Destiny is just Halo with... Honestly, and I think I was talking about this with someone. I don't remember who. It might have been Anthony. Can't really remember. The one thing they should definitely look to do is maybe reboot, honestly. Start over. They have all this stuff.
Destiny. I wouldn't reboot Destiny.
I mean...
Destiny 2 was considered a reboot. I wouldn't reboot it. I would
Destiny
just...
2 wasn't a reboot.
It was
Destiny
considered
2
a
is
reboot.
not a reboot.
Considering with the stuff that they... I mean...
Oh, I mean
soft-
gameplay.
considering
Yeah, it's a gameplay.
Gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, with the,
I don't
they
want to
have the
reboot.
story.
Just finish. No, just finish the franchise. Honestly, just finish. Like, take it to the end. Don't reboot it. Because rebooting it means that there's more work for them to do, and I don't want them to do that. I want them to make. Because again, Destiny 1 was not a bad game. What made it bad was the decisions that were made in the game.
Yeah, that's
Destiny
actually what I
2
said last night. Yeah.
Destiny 2 was not well received.
It was just Destiny 1.
But apparently the new patch. What is it called? Not the Forsaken King. What is this thing called?
Forsaken. I think it just
Forsaken. Yeah.
What a great
Apparently,
name.
it's done really well, but the fans like it. The issue is that
there's no one
everyone else hates it because it's Destiny. It's still attached to the Destiny 2 name. So there's an issue with that. But,
I mean, the point is that then you probably should reban it. People hate just because it's Destiny.
They should remake it.
They hate Destiny 2, but again, I want to see them go see, because honestly, with the way that they've done lore so far, if they reboot the franchise from the beginning,
start over, make the whole game.
I will not care. No, I will not care about the franchise.
I don't know. I feel like
there's already too much lore that's already too badly explained, and the people who have gone on their way to find the lore for the game, I think it'd be a slap in the face to just reboot the franchise and be like, well, that was just non-canon, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Activision ruined their franchise, then literally rebranding seems pretty
well, they
solid.
said they're not going to rebrand it. Rebranding means it's not going to be Destiny at all. It's going to be a brand new game. They said
no, but I'm saying reboot, whatever. Sorry, I meant reboot.
So would it still be called Destiny?
Yeah.
They remake games all the time and call it the series name. God of War, Prince of Persia, Sonic the Hedgehog.
For them to just reboot things.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
if you're stepping away from a basically publisher that has, from all intents and purposes, been toxic and ruined the game, I think a rebranding would help people. A rebooting would help refresh a public opinion about it.
Or a remake, to be fair. A remake.
Yeah.
Use the same shit that they have if they retain the rights to the story. Make a full game. Yeah. I mean, literally just make a full
Activision, and people might be more inclined to buy that.
I mean, they probably won't do this, but, you know, it just helps when now they have all this stuff fleshed out and they can encapsulate it better. Because I guarantee you it was Activision who said, let's make half a game. And then let's make half of that be the demo. That perplexed me even to this day. Like, I've never played a demo of a game that's half the game. That just seems wrong to me. Half the base game. That'll be like if you played Resident Evil. I mean, they are doing a 30-minute demo, but the average Resident Evil playthrough is not an hour. But, like, that would be like if you had a game like Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy whatever, and you played half the fucking game, 20 hours. You ever heard of a 20-hour demo before you fucking bought the game? I've never heard of that. It makes no sense to me, but whatever. Like, I get... Yeah.
Go.
I was just gonna say, I get what you're saying, but in the best interest of them distancing... I mean, they're just gonna make a sequel or whatever. They'll make a spin-off series or whatever they'll do. And I'm sure it'll be better than whatever they did before, but, you know... the future's the limit, as usual.
I think a rebooting is a good idea, because now you said you excise the cancer, and you just want to start fresh. On a new world, maybe there are some decisions that were really bad in terms of story that Activision forced, and they just want to restart. I think that's your best bet.
I mean, but clearly Activision is just doing nothing but amazingness. I mean, that's just... It's kind of weird.
Company is... Like, the ones that they invest the most money in end up doing the worst somehow, which is hilarious. Because, again, their biggest franchise, or biggest, like, franchise in terms of profits, is Candy Crush.
Oh, yeah. Disgusting. Yeah, I don't even know who plays that. I guess I walk by 20 people who play it. The boomers still play. The boomers. Yeah, I like how boomer is just... this great anonymous term for
the boomers and occasionally the zoomers.
Basically, the people who do not like video games but need time.
But need them anyway. Yeah, they're time killers.
Because they go to work on trains. I see it a lot on trains. Like people going to work, people riding buses.
Oh, you're playing a Switch? That's fucking stupid. Now let me get to level 4 in Candy Crush.
Yeah, I saw this dude like $4.95. He was like a business dude on his.
I saw a dude playing Breath of the Wild standing on the edge of the platform. I'm like, you really living your life on the edge right now. Like, unironically. you could take 3 steps back and enjoy Link's adventure, my dude. There's no fucking rush.
But yeah, basically, Activision is kind of like the EA. They're not really interested in making a game. They're more interested in turning profit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we
But
always
they don't.
do.
I mean, to be fair, that should be the end goal for a company. It's just that.
No, but they don't understand that making a good game is synonymous with turning a profit.
No, you're right. Not necessarily. That's not true.
Yeah.
Because you can. No, that's not true.
It's not always.
They don't want to see. They don't want to see. At the end of the day, when they've invested $500 million into a game, they only make a profit, and that means they've recouped the cost of the game. They don't want to see, oh, we only made a profit of $50 million. No, they don't want to see that. They want to see a profit of like at least 250.
Yeah, but my thing is that
they're not doing it with what they're doing right now, anyway.
Maybe they're also not doing it. Maybe in the past
GTA
that was not
was a
true.
$500 million game.
Well, yeah, but GTA is also a good game. On top of that,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's maybe in the past, good games wouldn't make a profit isn't true, but unless there's some sort of PR that actively negatively impacts the game, a good game will generally make a lot of money. And the reason why is because the market is so oversaturated with bad games that people will gravitate to anything that's remotely good. Look at Red Dead. Red Dead 2 is not probably the best game of all time, but it's basically a drop of water in a freaking drought. So it makes that drop of water look infinitely better than actually it was. Well, look at Epic's Fortnite. The reason why Fortnite was so successful is not because Fortnite's an amazing game. I mean, it is well made, don't get me wrong. But it's not like, oh, blow my socks off good. But it's because it was surrounded by, look at it, the games made by PlayerUnknown, and all of those have been good games, but they weren't amazing in terms of output. Look at PUBG, bugs and glitches. What's it called? H1Z1, the other game he made, full of freaking pay-to-win not pay-to-win, but full of freaking microtransactions and freaking like all these gun skins and stuff, and completely imbalanced and basically just not well fleshed out. When you have all these VR games that are like basically they're good games but they're not great, and then you make a halfway decent one, you're gonna make a ton of money.
Especially
at the same time, though, I think
it's a Halo
I
shooter.
actually do believe Fortnite. The reason why it's so popular is it got super fucking lucky.
I mean, every
really
game
did.
that does well.
I mean, obviously,
no. But like, it was quite literally the perfect storm of Twitch is getting popular, esports is getting popular. Everyone loves battle royale games. The game runs on literally everything.
Yeah, that's my point, though. That's my point. PUBG could not run on what it was designed on.
I'm just saying, it's literally the perfect storm of just a lot of things came together to make Fortnite. I do believe if Fortnite came out a year like today, like if Fortnite came out right now, I don't believe it would be as popular as what it did. I think
the reason why Fortnite was so popular was because of PUBG.
Yeah, like I said, it was a perfect storm. Battle Royale was on because people don't talk about Battle Royale anymore like they used to. Battle Royale was the thing. I think was it 2 years ago when PUBG came out?
And Andy was right.
Yeah.
He said
2017
that the third Battle Royale would be the great one, and it was H1Z1 PUBG then Fortnite.
And also,
he was right. The third
to be
one
fair,
was a good one.
Fortnite, it doesn't look like a high budget game. What makes it? Because I believe I talked to you guys about this, but it's mostly about Fortnite itself is pretty bland. But what really makes it stand out is the events that they have. Because the events are just stupid. Like you remember the somber ARG that Blizzard tried to pull that lasted literal months,
and nothing happened.
And it ended
beautiful.
with, "Oh, wait till BlizzCon."
It was a countdown to an event they scheduled.
Fortnite does something like that, but the payoff is fucking massive.
Yeah,
it's
but
like, it's huge.
Well, they're not
like,
idiots.
At the time, Fortnite got huge before the event, by the way. It got, like, the events are the reason they got huge, and then they started doing events. It wasn't because of events that it got huge. What really pushed Fortnite over the edge is, like you said, streaming. Ninja, especially when Drake and other people of influence who were known to play Fortnite started, like, interacting with streamers, that kind of really helped them. But I also think it's mainly because PUBG was a buggy, broken mess. People were tired of literally not being able to play the game half the time, and they gravitated toward Fortnite, a game that could be played on anything,
which was polished.
Free to play, was polished, free to play, and this thing looks like I don't know, like a 5-course dinner because everybody's been starving their whole entire life. I mean, yeah, PUBG's not a bad game, but if I were to rate it, it would probably be like a freaking home-cooked meal. But like, if you get something for a restaurant that looks amazing, that can be run on anything, eaten anywhere, like Fortnite's gonna look like amazing to an average person.
I mean, it's a lot of things,
and it can be played on multiple devices.
But the general ideology, especially when it comes to like non-multiplayer games, is that if you make a good thing with a good story with good gameplay, it kind of just inherently increases its value, which is basically Witcher and Breath of the Wild in a nutshell.
Because of the fact that there's been so many bad games, so many games that have just tried to screw over the consumer. Everybody's like, well, look at this. This is amazing.
I mean, even worse than that, there's just average games that just get thrown under the bus, like the same YouTube press churner that you want to use to make things look good also makes them look bad. And there's plenty of cherry-picking videos out there. And I mean, some of them are funny, but I mean, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. So when someone makes something that's cool, original, hilarious, and it's just like, oh, okay, well this works. I mean, the thing is, and this is kind of where I always draw issue, is that whatever is happening at these companies, they're not succeeding by whatever methods they're implementing themselves.
Yeah, so you think they would change tactics when you
like they're always doing this shit where it's got to have the gotcha bullshit or the loot box shit or this or that or whatever bullshit that they want to do. The online passes of yesteryear. The copy protection, not copy protection, the fuck, I can't even remember.
And the funny part is EA is actually experienced the freaking online pass that people hated so much. They got rid of it. That. Because and now they want to add loot boxes back and all this other stuff.
And they ruined.
No, to be fair, loot boxes was an ingenious way to make up the cost of, because they wanted more money. Because again, these companies are like, due to inflation and just how game development works, games
we're not saying loot boxes are inherently wrong or anything. We're saying that in a climate where people did not like loot boxes, they were like, "Oh yeah, dude, Battlefront 2, loot
whole game is dependent on fucking loot boxes."
No, I'm saying, I understand why they use loot boxes. Like, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
No, but in a climate where they're like loot boxes on the onset were fine because it hadn't been egregious. But
and then they made it egregious within like 2 years. It was already a problem.
Exactly. This goes back to the point. You can't do things when they're oversaturated. Look at the king of trying to do that, Cliffy B. Every game after Gears of War he tried to make is when the freaking industry had already been oversaturated with it. If you were late to the party, you just have to accept that you're late to the party. It's not going to work anymore. That's the problem. These companies are like, oh, well, this game
I still think loot boxes will still be successful due to the inherent nature of it, because it's a psychological thing. And sure, everyone else might be doing it, but the psychological reaction that you get from
I don't know.
It's gambling. It's literally gambling.
But I don't think it's going to be Yeah, I know that. But if people realize that there's gambling in their games, they're going to be like, wait a minute. One, countries that have already started banning loot boxes. Two, people have already boycotted games that were going to have loot boxes in it. Perfect example is look at Anthem. It was going to have loot boxes in it. They fired the freaking CEO, dude, who was freaking making decisions there. And people were like, well, if loot boxes, if this game has loot boxes in it, I'm not going to buy it. So then they made a public statement saying...
not going to boycott the game, though.
I still think... I kind of have to agree with Sergio on this point. I think that as long as... I think Battlefront 2 was kind of a tipping point, because that was actually a game with a shit ton of money, which was basically unplayable without the loot box system. And even though they kind of took it back a bit, it's kind of the removal of making something worthwhile for your time. Like, usually what it is in games is you kill shit, you win a game, you get rewarded for it, you spend that on rewards to do whatever. And they're kind of removing that in favor of, well, maybe you get a little bit of money when you level up, and then you could dump it on that. I mean, Overwatch does that, but the difference is that Overwatch's shit is cosmetic. So, I mean, it's not egregious.
No, obviously, I'm not saying loot boxes are going anywhere. I'm talking about in terms of using as a money-making ploy. Loot boxes...
Yeah, they'll still get to do it, I feel, but they gotta not...
I get but not as intrusive as they first did it when it first came out, because people really didn't like... I mean, yeah, it was intrusive, but people had no problem with this, because of the fact that, like, at the time, loot boxes weren't a thing. So even if they were intrusive, people really didn't have, like, see a major issue with it.
I actually think
if they were
Mass Effect 3 had loot boxes, right, Adam? Or I don't know if they were called that.
Yeah, they were.
I think Mass Effect 3 had loot boxes.
You could only get the weapons through loot boxes.
Yeah, like some shit.
That
was a single player game, yeah. So like you could kind of
even in the multiplayer, like people were kind of pissed at it. But you didn't see these mass boycotts because it was a pretty new thing back then. Like no one boycotted Mass Effect 3 because of that. They obviously boycotted for other reasons. But like there was no freaking call to be like, oh, this is intrusive. We can only get our weapons through loot boxes. So either we have to pay or just play a ton, because like basically you couldn't get the weapons you wanted ever because if they didn't drop in multiplayer, because there was a sniper that was really broken back then, the Widowmaker or something. And you could only get it through drops and loot boxes, and people hated it, but they didn't like mass boycott or mass.
Yeah, it's Battlefront 2. I think we're gonna look back in 5 years and be like, this is where they had to stop.
Who are showing up late to the party, and it's already been abused and exploited, and these companies want to come in
by EA too, which is the crazy part.
Yeah,
like. It's like EA stuck their hands in the cookie jar too much, so now nobody can have cookies anymore.
And this goes back to the saying, like, if you make a good game in this time, because people have been exploited so much by bad games that aren't worth $60, if you make a game that's actually worth $60, you probably make a lot of money.
But you see, the problem with that is that companies are going to see, like, oh, well, what's this new gimmick that we could use? And the one gimmick they never fucking utilize is exactly that, is making a good game with a good story and good gameplay. And it doesn't have to be 100 hours long. It doesn't have to be, 50. But something 40-some hours long or 20 hours long, depending on the type of game. Just I'm waiting for them to find that gimmick. The gimmick of we make good quality shit, and so people just buy it because it's satisfying, and not because, well, shit, maybe if I drop another $20 on loot boxes, maybe I'll get that one gun, which will get buffed or nerfed or whatever in a week, and then it'll be a worthless fucking investment. I mean, even DLC was better in my opinion, because at least with DLC it was kind of like, oh, well, it's an extension of whatever.
No, yeah, that makes sense. But, they'll just find the next practice. But, I mean...
It'll be something. We'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
It'll be something real slight, and then before you know it, every game is going to have it. And then it'll just be back to the usual.
But like they just need to start making good games again.
They'll sell $30 bicycle skins for mounts. That'll really fucking move them back.
Because you will literally see your freaking, unless, dude, like the only instances where I've seen that in this day and age, it was just a sham, was Titanfall 2. But that's because EA cucked them purpose. Released it in a launch window that was not even conducive for like even the best of. And this is a game that was making a return, and they launched it in between Battlefield and freaking Call of Duty.
It's like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
I mean, like, not even the best of series could stand up to that. Like,
jeez,
and it didn't even do that poorly. Like, it did well enough where EA was like, well, we need to make a third game.
Well, we'll make a third game. Yeah. We'll Dead Space it. We'll give them a third game and then just axe it. So don't worry, they'll fuck it up.
It's held its own somewhat in that environment.
They'll find a way to fuck it up. They'll release it in some unoptimal time. They won't promo it. They'll do weird shit to it, like Dead Space 3. And then when it does predictably poorly, they'll just axe it because why the fuck not?
But that just proves that, like, if you make a good game, like, it didn't freaking sell amazing, but it sold pretty well considering what time window it was. And the reason why is because the press that it did get was majority positive. So literally
every game has to do Battlefield numbers. They want Battlefield numbers out of shit like Mirror's Edge. I don't even know what the fuck these people are smoking. But I mean that's what they believe. They firmly believe that fucking if you make a Mirror's Edge reboot, which is not what anyone asked for, and then you have a whole bunch of bullshit with it, and then at the end of it, it just sells poorly. Well, I guess we're done with Mirror's Edge. And I'm still waiting for that to eventually harm EA because, what are they really going to sell at this point? I don't even know. But besides that, because we need to get into our friends at Overwatch. Because, I mean, let's be fucking real here. I mean, like...
Friends at Overwatch are
they're doing some really questionable shit. Now... I want to preface this. Jeff and Friends. Oh my fucking god. Jeff and Jeff. It's like a fucking sitcom. Jeff and fucking Jeff. It's literally a 1980s sitcom. But I don't know. They start up some business like Goodman and Kaplan or something. I don't know.
It's called Jeff and Jeff, dude.
I like Jeff and Jeff.
Actually perfect.
Jeff and Jeff or Jeff and Geoff.
Jeff and Geoff. And I think this is a bigger problem with Overwatch's lore. So recently, their friends at Overwatch came out, and they brought Soldier 76.
By the way.
3 years in the making.
Into the light.
They brought Soldier 76 out of the closet into the light. Now I don't want. Yeah, I mean you basically formed the joke. Now I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with making a character gay. It is the same fucking disclaimer I gotta make in front of everything. But the way that they did it and the state of Overwatch's like state has been a reoccurring theme on this podcast for almost the last 2 years. It's actually it's going to be 3 come this May. So Overwatch has just kind of been in this weird state of relevant enough to be remembered and talked about and ranked highly on Twitch, but not relevant enough to kind of break into the top games that are currently out right now, like Fortnite. Even COD is beating it and stuff. And I mean, you know, like I said, people always bitch at COD. Oh, it's the same game every year. It's the same fucking thing. But COD is still more relevant on Twitch and other places than Overwatch. They have a league where they have... We spent hours talking about this, but to summarize it, they have a league where they have teams that are just named specifically after certain places, share nothing in common with the people, don't meet the fans really, and they basically spend almost no time there. It's a complete mess. You could almost do a full podcast on that. But they have a league which is just they're trying to force and expand to double size this year, which is going to be awkward because they don't have the establishment really. And they're spending way too much money on sponsors and whatnot. They have a game whose balance they can't really try to figure out, where the quick play isn't competitive enough and the competitive is not serious enough. They have so many problems with this game on just fundamental levels. Go
especially since the teams that they chose for that league, they chose the wrong country, honestly. Because they like each state has their own team basically, and Korea is pretty much just Seoul, Korea. So you chose the wrong country because the Koreans are actually better than the Americans. So like, why would you have multiples of each state when you should probably have multiples of region in Korea? Because that's where a majority of the players are coming from anyway.
I mean, even then, the representation is just completely all over the place. I mean, they don't even have these people spend any reasonable amount of time in the place that they're representing. So
again, it'll happen in season 3. They don't have the resources to do it yet, dude.
Okay,
Jeff,
yeah.
Speaking of Jeff,
Mr. Yummy Gun.
But I actually got an invitation. Well, they sent out an invitation. For the NYXL Academy team, which is a paid position for the contenders. They're offering tryouts, but you have to be at least top 500. So,
so what the fuck is the point?
Let's talk about this. By the way, it's a world. The racism is for everyone in the world. Okay. Everyone in America. Let me correct myself. You have to be out of 500 people on that list. You have to be one of them who happens to live in New York. Keep in mind that top 500. I know at least one person who has 3 accounts in top 500. He made a joke.
Oh, that's a magnificent, by the way. He gets on 3 teams. He gets on 3 fucking teams. That's incredible.
He's an Overwatch League player, which is even better.
Oh,
he's a Korean Overwatch League player.
Oh, that narrows it down. Keep going.
In top 500 3 times.
What I don't understand is why. I mean, like, obviously you need a certain stipulation, but why don't they just restrict it to GM? There's like a ton of people.
Because fuck that. Need to be top 500.
Why top 500? That always rotates like every freaking...
Not to mention, everyone says ladder play doesn't matter. It means shit. It doesn't mean anything.
I mean, sure, but they want to... No, yeah, but they want to...
But it's the only metric they have.
Yeah, it is. No, you're right. It's the only metric they have.
So, like, just restrict it to GM, because literally what happens is top 500 is constantly on rotation. people, it's like because it's based on your stats and like your wins. You're not really like it constantly fluctuates. Like the last and like the first don't change that much, but the last few people in top 500 are constantly switching. So you might as well just restrict it to GM and just be like anybody who's GM can play. Because yeah, like Sergio said, it's the only metric they have, but it's not a great metric. So might as well just restrict it to GM. Have them come try out, see how well they do, and then if they're not good, just stop.
See, you say all that, but when on this podcast have we ever discussed people doing something sensible?
I mean, yeah.
Like, we have dudes talking about women squirting like fire hydrants and like, being fucking magicians. I don't think we're on the level of realistic shit anymore. I don't even think League
does that restriction where you have to be Challenger. Because Master and Challenger people fluctuate so frequently that they just restrict to any Master player.
I've seen XQC go to Masters because just a string of terrible games. People suck on the game.
You can just fluctuate it so quickly. So I just recommend GM at the bare.
But yeah,
if
like
you want to extend it to
I wouldn't
Master,
even do that. I would just be like, honestly, because who the fuck is gonna like? Let's think of New York. Let's think of how many people play Overwatch. They can honestly just hold a tournament.
Everybody,
no, it's everyone, and they said everyone in. Also, they said the fucking tri-state area. That's not just New York, and it's a New York team. All right, guys.
Well, I mean, there's no Connecticut.
And also, wait, hold on 1 second. Isn't Massachusetts a part of the tri-state area?
No.
No.
New Jersey, Connecticut,
New Jersey, Connecticut,
and when they say tri-state area, they kind of mean
they include Delaware.
Yeah, usually it's like north.
But it's usually those three.
Oh, this is not true. I'm skipping that, Anthony. Get out of here. But I mean, Overwatch, the whole league has been kind of just this weird fucking conglomeration of bullshit. I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. They have ridiculous buy-ins. They insist on jacking it into like all these weird time slots that they really can't afford. And now they're, I think we said this last time. Now they're being told to do more with less money. It just seems like a recipe for disaster. And I don't want to see them crash and burn. I'm just saying they're kind of getting to the point where it's kind of like, well, how are they going to do more if they can't handle what they already are doing with less funding? And I would not be surprised if in 10 years, we get a tell-all. I mean,
especially operating Overwatch in a net loss.
I don't know how they do that. I mean, the simple answer is they just get funded, but now they're not getting that anymore, really. So, you really tell me, because I don't know. But the lore is a mess. I mean, writing Soldier is gay isn't, like, a sin, necessarily.
It's not the worst thing, but the issue is that he was an established character. They had 3 years to make him gay.
And it seems like they picked the time when Overwatch is the least relevant to try to really stir up controversy.
You saw this. We saw it. I posted the other day, right? Let me repost it.
And then there was that one dude from Blizzard.
Viewer starter pack, where what they do whenever they need views, because
it feels like they did it more so just to kind of throw out Overwatch to say, hey, look, fuck, what was the last time a game did this? No, they did it because
the guy who does the fucking lore is a fucking lazy piece of shit.
Well, they also retcon everything, so how are you supposed to take anything seriously? Diva is a pro StarCraft player. A year or two later, she's not a StarCraft player no more. So what the fuck?
I never said that. He's like,
and then
they lie about it. Thank you for reminding me. They tried to lie about it.
What are you talking about?
Like we're all fucking stupid.
And then they archived the page and showed.
Dude, just say you just didn't want her to be a StarCraft player anymore. Just shit. Is it that hard to just tell the truth?
It's one of your IPs, so why is it such?
It's not like you said she's a Smash player or something, and Nintendo's like, "Oh, dog, cut it. We don't want that."
It's StarCraft. That's pretty significant.
It's just StarCraft,
especially since StarCraft exists within the Overwatch.
And she's Korean too.
There's a fucking map dedicated to the monument of Blizzard.
Yeah, there's a literal Blizzard world, a literal Disney World style Blizzard land, and they refuse.
They have StarCraft.
Yeah, it has a pylon. Tassadar Terrace or some shit. I mean, we look at the map, we load in, we'll fucking see it. It's like they have the Horde shit there. They have all the fucking normal shit. Yeah, they have all that shit. And you mean to tell me, like, what is the reasoning behind making her not a StarCraft champion when that's kind of the point? She's Korean, she's hip, she's into all this stuff. And then more importantly, why lie about it?
Move, Jeff.
Yeah, move back. why lie about it? I think is the biggest thing that really perplexes me.
No, I don't think he lied. I think the dude's a fucking idiot. I actually believe that he forgot.
I mean, listen. I would say how stupid could you be, but again, every time I say that, somehow people find a way to undermine my already non-existent standards for them.
Overwatch is the characters have really varied backgrounds, and the fact that we only get like what, one lore piece every
6 months,
9 months,
if not.
no, not even 6 months, like 9 months.
It's
Come
awful.
the fuck on.
You got all these characters, you got this long story with a whole bunch of people interacting and stuff, and really they can only find time like almost not like once, maybe twice. I'll give them twice a year, and not even at equal parts of the year. I'm just saying, like, in general.
It's random. This shit just comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh,
we got all these characters and we know like nothing about them.
We need to get more people to talk about our game.
All right.
My thing is that, going back to the point about Soldier being gay. My thing is that, like, as Sir just said, they had 3 years to basically announce this. Obviously, like Malcolm said, they're doing this to try to stir up controversy, bring it back in the limelight. But there's so many better ways you can go about doing that without just like being like, oh, this character is gay. Because like
for example,
at this point in time, I don't feel like do some actual work. I mean, I'm not saying that announcing a character being gay is like a necessarily bad thing. But, like, in the sense that we've kind of gotten to the point where that's not really a big, like, wow anymore. It's like, well, okay, the character's sexual preferences are this. We don't see any impact of it in the game. Yeah, like, we don't ever see any impact of that character being gay anyway, so when is that new character coming?
I just realized why they announced the character is gay now.
Why?
Because China just said Overwatch is probably never going to be approved.
Fuck it. Then just announce everything. Winnie the Pooh collab coming soon, apparently.
Oh no! Tiananmen Square, dude. Where's the Tiananmen Square map, dude?
Come on. God. May getting May's gonna be. Oh no, we're actually gonna see May's ass expand. Oh my god! Holy shit!
That is too hard. That's too far. Dude.
Holy shit! Yeah, no, they had that big ass list where they're like restricting games. What was? Shit, I moved it. I moved that thing somewhere. I don't remember where I moved it. They had a whole list I think we talked about last podcast. But yeah, I mean, I guess they might as well just do it. Fuck it.
Winnie the Pooh skin on May.
Yeah, honestly, do some ridiculous shit. Fuck it.
She already has a beekeeper skin. Turn Snowball into Winnie the Pooh.
Do whatever. Fuck it. Yeah, who cares? Just go nuts.
No, turn Snowball into Piglet.
Oh my god. Yeah, the fucking thing is Piglet on the back with a detachable head. Just fucking go nuts at Overwatch. I mean, but they'll never do that because, you know, they're boring. They like... Okay, thank you for posting that again. They just kind of do whatever the fuck they want at Overwatch. I mean, it worked for them. It worked for them, right? Like, they had a huge first year or two. You know, Anna came out pretty quick, right? It was like 3 months in or something. It was like August or whatever. And that was pretty cool. Then the Sombra ARG was a little weird and disappointing because it didn't go anywhere. And just ever since then, it's been this weird decline. You have League players coming in and saying that the fucking shit is boring, the game is unfun, and they don't really enjoy it.
Doesn't look good.
It really has I mean, there's obviously the casual people who like the game, but there's a reason why I don't normally count casual people when it comes to stuff, unless it's like a blatant outcry like Battlefront 2 or something, because of course you're supposed to like it. You don't really invest much into it. You don't invest much time into it. You don't invest, I don't want to say emotion, but you don't invest... You
see the flaws if you're not, like, in it.
It's like the Final Fantasy. I mean, I always relate everything to Final Fantasy, but it's crazy how you can kind of do that on that game. It's like when people are like, oh, well, you can't buff this class. It'll appease the FF logs people. It's like, but maybe we're not doing it just to fucking pad numbers for people you don't give a shit about. Maybe maybe at Square Enix they're trying to buff the class so that everyone
can be playable.
Well, yeah, to make it better. Because right, like, by their logic, you could reverse their logic. Then whatever class that the FF logs people says needs to be nerfed or whatever, they could just buff it, and then they would just break the game balance. And I mean, that's not balancing.
on top of that, the only reason why a class would need to be buffed is because the FF Logs people realize there's a problem with the class. Because the majority of people who play this game don't need to worry about buffs or nerfs because they don't need them. You can do every content in this game outside of like the end stuff.
Do your basic shit.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't care.
Not even do your basic. Just press the same button over and over again. And you fucking win.
Dude, if they were operating, if these people complaining about buffs and nerfs were operating on logic, they would be shut down on the fact that it's PvP. Like it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
No. I mean, it does matter in the sense of game balance, but I'm saying it doesn't matter in the sense that they won't be affected by buffs or nerfs in that regard because it's not PvP. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any balance whatsoever, but I'm saying.
But they're not going to get hit with a ridiculous.
They would never be affected by any
buffs
or nerfs that.
So what does it matter on some level?
They would never get.
It matters in the sense that your position just gets lower, but at the same time, again, people who care about the people who are complaining in terms of class composition. The people who are complaining, the people who don't worry about that because they don't do the content that requires a class composition.
I mean, listen, all those bards are welcome to switch to machinist any fucking day if they really don't believe that.
Yeah, but
some
like in
classes
terms
need
of
shit.
like.
But what he's saying is that people don't get murdered by ridiculous guns.
It's not
it's
like
the AI.
PvP. It's the AI. Like, yeah, your class composition might go down or up. Yes, that's important. But those people are not going to be affected, even if they do the high end of the thing, is because those people can still play them anyway. It's not like you literally cannot. Like, if you break something in PvP, you will reach a point where that thing cannot be played or
is played all the time.
Yeah, and eclipses everything
like Reaper.
else. It's not like where you could just be like, oh well, like in PvE, like it sucks when your class goes down the shitter.
But as long as you can clear, I mean,
but as long as you can, do the content.
Okay. But don't worry, Dark Knights can clear just fine. But why the fuck would you ever play a Dark Knight when you can do Warrior Paladin?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that game balance is not important, but in the PvP aspect, it's a lot more significant. When they buff a class, like that's why the Division was such a nightmare, because when they buffed a class in PvE, it could change it for PvP as well, and then now this class is no longer playable, like at all.
I would also like to throw out that as much as I shit on Dark Knight, my best Omega MF rating is with Dark Knight, so you know.
So yeah, like as long as you love the class, you can still play it in the PvE sense, unless they absolutely gut it and then it can't clear.
They weren't even gonna rework a part of it. They were just gonna. People were saying like, "Hey, just add an off global cooldown so we can move and use an ability and not just be worthless."
So like these people
and people are flipping out. I mean, it's Reddit
about something it's not gonna even affect them.
It's Reddit. I mean, I don't know. I get used to Reddit
doing it. They're not
doing
operating with logic anyway.
It's Reddit, so they're just having an emotional response.
Yeah, it's literally just
they're just taking the piss. But speaking of broken shit, I mean, that Reaper 50% lifesteal will really fix Overwatch, by the way. I think that's just going to be impeccable. That the only time they nerf Brigitte is because they're going to break Reaper. I mean, maybe he'll be fucking, I don't know, like maybe he won't
to add
be
context to that, because I started playing Reaper the other day.
You've been playing
this
Reaper?
Character, I might as well learn this character, okay? And I realized this character in most situations is completely busted. There's nothing most people don't know how to react to him. You just get away with dumb shit for free. And I realized something when I was in my ultimate. If Brigitte's armor was not allowed to fall off, Reaper would just be allowed to ult and survive, no matter what happens.
And Brig could just build to her next fucking rally and then just give it back to him.
Her ult, because Brigitte's ultimate gives you extra health. And the max damage a one-shot ability, normal one-shot ability can do is 300 damage.
Is that with Discord?
That's without Discord.
Okay.
And because of that, Reaper would just be able to just ult, and then gain all his health back because of the ult.
As long as he's hitting, yeah.
As long as he's hitting, so.
If he's in the middle of a group of enemies, they showed this with those Roadhogs. If he just heals for way too much to die, it would need to be an instant kill, or he would need to be basically tagged up on.
From
again, we also like the game balance there is also a huge issue. So, but it's a lot more impactful because it's PvP. So now it's going to get abused, and a whole class might become unplayable because.
And the reason why I believe this will totally happen is because Brigitte was broken for a long time, and they just kind of let it sit.
Brigitte was broken since her inception, and
Only now are they getting to a level where she's kind of being
even again, the only thing they needed to do,
her.
The only thing they needed to do was prevent her from bashing through shields and preventing there's another thing that they did.
And they gutted
her.
And
have it so that way her shield bash does no damage. 50 damage was obscene.
Yeah,
it's a quarter of someone's
health.
Should
be like 10, 15 maybe. Yeah. Just a little tap.
But they did everything, so now she's gutted, and now like literally isn't as good as it should be. So, but she actually provided counters to people that were previously uncounterable. Tracer was regarded as one of the most uncounterable characters like in the game.
And it's also she's the type of character where you can't really nerf her, because if you nerf her, you cause problems.
Yeah. So she was a good answer to that, but now that they gutted the character again, you have a problem.
The issue is that this game is too rock, paper, scissors based, and it's not fun.
Yeah, it should be soft counters, not hard counters.
I mean, they're 3 years in the hole for figuring that out. I mean, that's just Blizzard in general. I mean, I don't know. I just personally feel like there's a lot of stuff that they do, and then a lot of stuff that they could do that they don't do, or that they just don't care about, and then they try to like half lie, cover it up later. I mean, that is one of the awkward things.
I also blame the community. Like, the community also thinks that Reaper's tank buster, so he should be allowed to kill all.
Do whatever. Fuck
it.
That's
the dumbest. That is
he
the
should kill everything.
Logic. By virtue of you being sure you can be a tank buster doesn't mean you get to kill every tank for free.
But what boggled my mind is why all characters were not inherently equal. Like League, what they do is every character has a passive, every character has 4 ability. Like, that's it. You're not gonna get a character that doesn't have, like, in some shape or form. But Overwatch has some characters that have passives and others that don't. I'm like, what is this? Why is it so, like, lopsided? How come one character has a passive lifesteal ability and then, like, what is their passive armor? Like, I don't understand that.
Oh yeah, Armand didn't realize that Reaper's lifesteal was based on damage. He just thought you had to kill the person to get the lifesteal.
No, yeah, I thought it was based on it's based on
your damage.
Actually, so now. Well, I mean, like, League has that, but you have to build an item for it, but whatever. And there are characters that have passive lifesteal, but every character has a passive. I don't understand why every character in Overwatch does not have a passive.
Because that's more stuff they'd have to balance. They're not already good with what they have, to be fair.
I mean, sure, but then remove all passives. Don't have any passives.
Well, I mean,
why do some characters have passives and others don't? Like, either that or give Reaper one less ability. Like, I don't know. Just
no. The issue with Reaper is not even the life source. His abilities are garbage.
No, I get that, but
the shadow stuff, the teleport, is a terrible ability.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is that it literally shouldn't he shouldn't have 4 ability. That's not fair. Well, I mean, I guess 3. Wait, no, it's 4. It's 4. It's passive, 2 abilities, and ultimate. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, every character in League inherently has a base 4 ability plus a passive. There's no, like, getting around that. Like, I don't know why all characters aren't inherently
They just have a weird role system and a weird... I mean, maybe I could see them getting away with it because their game is a little bit different in structure than League.
Sure,
but, I mean, they don't really... Like I said, the companies, they don't balance it out the way they have it. Like, they don't succeed at what they strive to do differently in any conceivable aspect. I mean, the metas constantly shift. They always have some weird shit going on. You see the same characters get picked over and over on basically almost all levels of play. I mean, Mercy was basically a guaranteed pick at almost every rank.
To the point where she was at over 100% pick rate.
Yeah, you get some weird shit with Mercy where it's like if you're basically not running her, you're throwing because of the whole revive. I mean, that's
the problem with that game, because I just really think that when Overwatch needs more people, and when it gets enough people, you should not be able to pick them. Like, that's what League did. League, at first, you could pick the same people, but the meta got really stale, and it was really hard to balance, because if there was one overpowered character, they would be used on both teams. So basically, when they got enough characters, what they did was, there's a game type where you can't pick the same characters on each side.
There's not enough characters in Overwatch for you to do that.
There's not enough characters in Overwatch for you to do that. And also, Overwatch has on-the-fly switching, so I don't know if that will
also
it's also
because
more like
the
there's
fact...
a mode that lets you choose. It's more standard to go into the mode where you cannot double up on a champion.
That would also be the worst possible thing to add to Overwatch because of how rock paper scissors the game is. You can just be like, okay, on my team we're gonna have McCree, Pharah, Soldier, and just because you have those characters, Pharah plays mostly contested.
No, but that's when Overwatch. Again, this is all.
No, even if the game had more characters, like if
they had characters that serve the same functions as the current characters they do.
Yeah, but
that's not an issue. It's
they're not going to put in Echo Fighter characters in this game.
Again,
no, well, I mean, it's not Echo Fighter characters,
Echo
but
Fighter.
it's the same. The character serves the same function.
Yeah,
they don't play
it should be the idea.
Same.
It shouldn't be the idea that like you have 3 characters who are all a copy of one character.
No,
the idea,
but they serve the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Function.
The design principle they should follow is you have roles. You have things that a character is doing now. Like say, what's her name? The sniper? The purple girl. So from what I understand, she's like the only sniper, isn't she? Her and...
There's others, but she's the only one with high potential.
The dedicated sniper.
She's the only real sniper, yes.
Yeah,
okay, that's what I'm saying. She's your only pick if you want a dedicated sniper. The design principle should be you should have a choice of up to 3 per function that any
that have different abilities.
Serves.
That I can agree with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I don't
actually
like Armand and I aren't saying that we want 3 of the same character with different skins
I
and
know.
different lore. We want the ability to choose between 3 different characters who can serve that functionality. So you're right. Eventually, when they have enough heroes, they should not have hero stacking. They shouldn't have a Pharah on both sides. If they have a Pharah, choose Widowmaker or whoever the fuck removes the Pharah from the game.
Well,
that would actually work. Yeah, like Jeff's saying, because of the fact that even though you could switch on the fly, like that character should be unavailable. Somebody has
exactly because it's only 6. It's only 6 people.
Yeah.
On each side, right? So if we look at the roster now, imagine tripling the roster. If we triple the roster and actually have heroes that can do what another person does, but in a different way, like
you could have
passive ability or whatever, then you can actually have a playable game.
Yeah.
Overwatch isn't fun. The team that manages it manages poorly because their design principles are all fucked up.
Yeah.
They're not releasing heroes in a quick enough time, and the heroes they release are boring as fuck. Ashe in no way is at all interesting, and I don't even know where she fits in the game. She's not a sniper, but she can aim down the sight.
She's a halfway character, right? Yeah, she's a halfway character.
Okay, and then Brigitte was like a half. She was like a bruiser.
They're adding a lot of. They're adding a lot of
healer support.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's the thing. In my opinion, the only healer in Overwatch is Mercy.
I disagree with that.
I mean, there's others.
I don't play Overwatch.
She's the sole healer that can just. Her whole purpose is just to heal.
I don't play Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch, but that's what I'm saying. You have one person who's dedicated to a healing position.
She's also not the best healer in the game, even though she's dedicated to healing.
That's pathetic. That's retarded. You have the best, quote-unquote healer to play. Medic. You have the easiest healer to play. But she's called the medic. She's literally a medic when you look at her, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then why the fuck can't she do her job? And why is there only one medic in the game?
Okay,
I'm not asking you to explain. I'm telling you to just think about this. You have a medic in your game that's not a medic.
Because they don't really have a designated role.
Another character is a better medic.
Yeah,
I understand that, but that's a problem.
The problem is that Overwatch
you have a design principle problem.
They don't want to commit to anything. Ranked is literally an amalgamation of casual and serious play. The characters are an amalgamation of non-committed roles because they don't want to commit to.
A couple characters are committed, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, some are committed.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
those were created at the onset.
Think, in my opinion, the only characters that get right are the tanks because they just stand there and get hit. That's literally all their tanks do. But your medics, your quote-unquote supports, Zenyatta has that weird orb shit. Oh no, the fucking David Bowie character.
Even the tanks, I think the only tank that is kind of remotely
Moira, her.
Like even
whatever.
No, I actually disagree. I think most of the tanks are pretty off in the sense that, like, I don't think they all serve.
I can think of one
functions.
tank.
Winston, backline tank damage, that mitigates with shield bubble, but it's not great mitigation.
The shield is mainly for him, so that way he can get in.
Yeah, like again,
it's not for the team.
Diva,
it's not team protection.
Diva might be close to Winston, but she's more of a pick, not back. She's not a backline dive.
Diva's a jack of all trades. She's everything. She can do.
But they changed her now, right?
She's jack of all trades, master of none.
And she's clearly broken, dude, because she can DM on demand.
She's busted because she's the only character. I keep on saying this. She's the only well-designed character in the game. She's able to do everything, but she's not perfect at doing everything.
Well, I mean, I think that that should be a character type, not a freaking. I
don't think it's a problem.
I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
There should just be characters.
It's
not. But the thing is that like no tanks are all the same. Winston's backline diver tank. Diva's jack of all trades. Reinhardt is literally freaking face tank, melee, possible all-in.
Actual tank protector. He protects.
Yeah, but Orisa fits that role. But the problem is she's ranged. And the tank is not, and the shield is not always. So it's just like in a
mountain. The barrier is also static. The barrier is also just there.
Yeah, and Roadhog is literally a freaking DPS with 600 health. Then you have Hammond. Whatchamacallit, Hammond, who's like a tank mobile kind of
like
area
Winston,
denial,
no
like
protection at all.
That's the problem that Jeff and I said. Like they all have different purposes, and that's great and all. But you need to start making some repeats so that there are other options if this said like strategy is like broken. So that way you're not seeing the same character on both sides, but they can still serve the same functions. Like you need more tanks that are jack of all trades or more tanks that are like Reinhardt. Like basically Brigitte is a good example of what a character should be. Obviously she was imbalanced at launch, but that's because her numbers are a little wonky. But she basically is a Reinhardt. In the sense that she's like obviously they made her a healer. That's not the point.
But there needed to be something to prevent Tracer from just running through healers. You're back.
But she serves the same function as Reinhardt, without ignoring the healing bullshit. Basically, she serves as a protector / frontliner who can melee, who's basically melee and mitigates damage. Like, is she exactly Reinhardt? No. But does she serve similar purposes as Reinhardt? Yes. Now, obviously, the character needs to be changed in some fashions to make him exactly like Reinhardt, but you need more characters like that fill the same role as some of these other characters, so that way they can gradually move away from copy and paste the same team. Because if they're broken characters if they're clear and present broken characters, you're just gonna see the same team comps on the other side, and then it just becomes a fashion of who plays this better, and that is literally the most boring thing because like, remember when Overwatch first started? It was 2 Winstons, 2 Divas, 2 Lucios, and that was it. Like that, or it was like some amalgamation of 2-2-2 on both sides. Like this is literally boring because it's a copy and paste on both sides. Like there's no variation, there's no change, there's no diversity here. So it's like, why even have the rest of the other heroes in the freaking lineup if the pros are just going to use what's broken and overpowered at the time?
Because,
and it's a design principle.
And since you can copy the same
I think it's worse than that. This is a team that can't even get their story straight, literally.
They just want to make cool things.
But
and
like,
it doesn't fit the game. That's it.
It stems from the fact that as I said from the beginning, Overwatch has 2 little heroes. Are maximized,
and they're not gonna get more heroes because they just like to design more cool characters. That's it.
Yeah, they also.
Jeff recently brought up the thing of role queue, and so Jeff is the game designer. Like he's the principal game designer. Like he's the guy.
No, that's me.
At the end of the day, or director. He's like at the end of the day, they come to him for advice, or he signs off on everything. Apparently, he wants role queue. He also wants there to be 3 different SRs: 1 for tanks, 1 for supports, and 1 for DPS.
Oh god.
That's why we can't have it. As in, before you queue into a competitive match.
Oh, you're saying where you're going?
You say what you're gonna play.
But that doesn't work because you guys don't lock in. You guys can roll queue support, and then when you get in, you just play DPS.
No, I think what they're saying is you will be locked in.
Oh, it'll lock what you can pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's
it'll be like League. Jeff, it'll be like League.
Yeah, I understand that. No, I understand that, but. I mean, come on. I've locked in support and played fucking somebody else before. You know that. I don't need to play support chosen character.
The point is that you will be locked in only playing.
Yeah, I get that. But I also, that was the other problem I had with their system. They don't, do they have overlaps? Or do heroes, can heroes be both support and defense or whatever?
Yes, that's what, well, no.
Can they be categorized as both? Are they in both categories?
No.
That's a problem. You also, that's another problem Overwatch has. You're restricting your characters to a very specific design rule that you're giving yourself, and you're not allowing them to overlap. That is an issue when you think of somebody like Brigitte is a support, right?
Yeah.
Can she also? But she can also partially tank. I don't play Overwatch, so I'm just.
It's weird again because.
Can she take a hit?
Yeah, she could take maybe one, not a ridiculous one though.
Yeah. Okay. So in some cases, you can actually use her as a tank, but she can also heal, right?
She could play aggressive back in the day. I remember that. That shit was fun.
So,
you could really play aggro with Brigitte and catch people.
So then that's the problem. If she's put in support, but you want to use her as a an off tank, mid range, whatever, you can't because.
That doesn't happen as often as you think, by the way. That doesn't happen as often.
I understand that. That's the other problem. You guys don't play, they don't let you play with their heroes. They're stuck where they're supposed to be. We've played games of League where the character that shouldn't be in a certain role will roll. Just absolutely stomp in that role. Because somebody who figured something kind of intuitive out that nobody else figured out just did it. And then you start seeing more of those. But Overwatch can't grow because... Like I said, the design flaw is they are very much restricted.
I mean, to be fair though, Jeff.
Yeah, there are also a lot of differences between Overwatch and
League has items.
You can buy items and stuff. I get that. Yeah, I get that. But
the character doesn't.
Like I'm saying, overcome that design decision. Then you have inherent design choices that you can make to allow characters to play multiple roles. It's a change of gameplay, but. I personally don't like Overwatch, but whatever.
Also, the last thing here.
Okay, yeah, last thing, and then we gotta.
No, not me, but I'm talking about the other thing that Overwatch happened with the freaking girl.
Oh fuck! We don't have enough time for that, do we, Sergio?
Did we talk about that last time? And
did we? No, I don't think we did. No, it happened right after. Yeah, you know what? We since you gotta go. We'll organize it later because we'll do that next. Actually, in 30 minutes after I do what I gotta do, remind me to make that part of 106
next document.
Okay. Yeah, that next doc because that I cannot believe I forgot that shit because that shit was fucking amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. Sergio has to go do stuff. I'm gonna go do stuff. And I don't know. I guess Adam's been waiting to hop in and talk about some other stuff. So that's a wrap. Whatever. It's another episode. Thank you. First of all, I'm SwearingPro1000. This has been another episode of the podcast. Once again, shorter but more rapid fire. Hopefully, mixing it up a little bit, keeping things a little bit fresher. Mr. Paladin of the Boss. Beautiful. Mr. Instant Retreat.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Great episode. See you guys in the next one.
Mr. Search to One.
See you guys.
And Mr. Yummy Gun.